Important reminders for eating oatmeal. After age 60. After the age of 60, each meal is no longer just about feeling full. It's an opportunity to nourish your body and sustain the energy that keeps you thriving day by day. Oatmeal, long praised as a gold standard food for heart and blood sugar health, truly is an ideal breakfast choice. But to unlock its full nutritional value, seniors should keep a few key things in mind when enjoying oatmeal each morning. First, choose minimally processed oats, such as rolled oats or steel-cut oats. Avoid flavored instant oatmeal packets, which often contain hidden sugars, excess sodium, and preservatives that can cause blood sugar spikes, something older adults should be especially mindful of. Second, don't eat oatmeal on its own. Pair it with sources of healthy fats and protein, such as chia seeds, walnuts, unsweetened milk, or boiled eggs. These combinations help stabilize blood sugar, prolong satiety, and support brain and heart function. Finally, listen to your body. If you feel tired after breakfast or get hungry again quickly, revisit what you paired with your oatmeal. Was it fruit juice, too much honey, or sweetened milk? These ingredients, though often seen as healthy, can disrupt your blood sugar balance if not used carefully. With just a few mindful adjustments, your morning bowl of oatmeal can become a gentle, energizing, and deeply nourishing meal, perfectly suited to a body that deserves extra care and attention in this stage of life. If you found this information helpful, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so we can continue this journey of living well together. One healthy day at a time. 1. Potatoes should not be stored in the refrigerator. Potatoes, a familiar food from childhood to today's family meals, may seem harmless when placed in the refrigerator. However, few people realize that storing potatoes in the fridge is a quiet mistake that can affect both the quality of your meals and the health of those consuming them, especially for individuals over 60. The reason lies in the nature of potatoes. They are rich in natural starch. When stored in cold environments below 8 degrees Celsius, 46 degrees Fahrenheit, this starch quickly breaks down into simple sugars, a process known as cold sweetening. As a result, cooked potatoes may taste unexpectedly sweet, become mushy, lose their natural fluffiness, and sometimes develop a slightly sour flavor. More concerning is that when these sweetened potatoes are baked or fried, a chemical reaction between the simple sugars and the amino acid asparagine produces acrylamide, a compound classified by the World Health Organization, WHO, as a potential carcinogen when accumulated over time. In addition, the refrigerator's humid environment is not suitable for potatoes, which require dry, well-ventilated conditions to prevent rotting, mold, or sprouting. Potato sprouts contain solanine, a natural toxin that can cause dizziness and nausea when consumed in large amounts. This is particularly important for older adults or anyone with sensitive digestion or chronic health conditions. If you currently store your potatoes in the fridge, it's time to reconsider that habit. The best way to preserve potatoes is to place them in a dark, cool, and well-ventilated spot, such as a dry corner of your kitchen, a lower cabinet, or in a paper bag or mesh basket. Avoid using plastic bags or sealed containers, which trap moisture and promote mold growth. Also, avoid storing potatoes with onions. Ethylene gas released by onions accelerates sprouting in potatoes. A small change in how you store potatoes can make a big difference to both your family's health and the flavor of your meals. 2. Tomatoes should not be stored in the refrigerator. Tomatoes, one of the most familiar and seemingly harmless items in our kitchens, are actually among the most commonly misplaced foods when it comes to storage. Many people store tomatoes in the refrigerator immediately after returning from the market or grocery store, assuming this will keep them fresh longer. But in reality, This well-intended habit may silently ruin their taste, texture, and nutritional value, especially for older adults who need optimal nourishment. The reason lies in the tomato's sensitivity to cold temperatures. When stored in an environment colder than 10 to 12 degrees Celsius, 50 to 54 degrees Fahrenheit, their natural ripening process is disrupted. The enzymes responsible for developing the tomato's sweet, fragrant, and full-bodied flavor shut down, leaving the fruit mealy, bland, and dry, stripping away the juicy, rich taste you expect. Visually, the tomato may still look fine, but once you bite into it, it's often disappointing and flavorless. More than just taste, refrigerating tomatoes can reduce their lycopene content, a powerful antioxidant known for supporting heart health, slowing cellular aging, and even helping prevent cancer. For older adults, preserving lycopene intake from fresh, natural sources like tomatoes is especially important for overall well-being. So, what should you do instead? Avoid storing tomatoes in the fridge. Instead, keep them at room temperature, in a well-ventilated area, away from direct sunlight. Here's a simple tip. Store them stem side down to reduce moisture loss and extend freshness. If your tomatoes are fully ripe, but you're not using them right away, you can briefly refrigerate them, but be sure to let them return to room temperature before eating to restore some of their natural flavor and texture. A small change in how you store your tomatoes, keeping them out of the fridge until they're fully ripe, can make a big difference in taste, nutrition, and your overall health. 3. Onions should not be stored in the refrigerator. Onions, a staple in nearly every Vietnamese kitchen, are often stored incorrectly. Many people automatically place onions in the fridge after bringing them home, thinking that cold equals freshness. But in reality, onions are one of the worst foods to store in the refrigerator, especially when they are whole and uncut. Why? Because onions are highly sensitive to moisture and low temperatures, two defining features of your fridge's crisper drawer. In cold and damp environments, the natural sugars in onions break down faster, making them soft, watery, and prone to mold. You'll notice they turn limp, emit a strong sulfurous odor, and lose their crisp texture. There's another issue too. Onions absorb and release odors very easily. If left unwrapped in the fridge, their strong smell can spread to nearby foods like milk, butter, or fruit, giving the entire fridge an unpleasant onion scent. At the same time, onions can absorb other food odors, distorting their own natural flavor when cooked. So how should you store onions properly? For whole, uncut onions, the best place is a cool, dry, well-ventilated space away from direct sunlight, like a countertop, cabinet corner, or mesh basket in a dry room. Avoid sealed plastic bags, which trap moisture and accelerate spoilage. Instead, opt for mesh bags, open baskets, or paper bags to keep onions fresh longer. Special note: do not store onions near potatoes. Although both require similar storage environments, cool and dark, potatoes release ethylene gas, which causes onions to sprout or rot more quickly. If you've already cut an onion and need to store the remainder, it's fine to wrap it tightly in plastic wrap or place it in a sealed container and refrigerate it temporarily. But use it within 1 to 2 days for the best flavor and safety. A simple shift in onion storage habits, avoiding the fridge for whole onions, can preserve their flavor, crunch, and nutrition, while also protecting other foods in your fridge from unwanted odor contamination. 4. Garlic should not be stored in the refrigerator. Garlic, often considered the soul of the kitchen, not only adds distinctive flavor to meals, but is also praised for its numerous health benefits, including antibacterial properties, immune support, and inflammation reduction. However, many people unknowingly reduce garlic's quality and effectiveness by storing it improperly, especially by placing it in the refrigerator. The reason is simple. Garlic does not thrive in cold, humid environments. When stored in the fridge, the combination of high humidity and low temperatures encourages garlic to sprout. You'll often notice green shoots emerging from the cloves, a sign that the garlic is reacting to its unsuitable environment. Not only does this make the garlic softer and less firm, but the sprouts themselves tend to have a bitter taste and can affect the flavor of your dish if not removed before cooking. Moreover, when garlic is stored in sealed containers or plastic bags in the fridge, moisture builds up around it, leading to mold, spoilage, or softening. You might even find patches of white or black mold, rendering the garlic unusable. Additionally, garlic is highly odor absorbent. If stored near strong-smelling foods like fish, onions, or cheese, it can absorb those odors and lose its signature aroma. So, what's the best way to store garlic? Keep garlic in a cool, dry, and well-ventilated place, such as a woven basket, mesh bag, or a container with air holes. Avoid sealing it in plastic. When stored correctly, whole heads of garlic can last 3 to 6 weeks, retaining both their flavor and health benefits. If you've already peeled or chopped the garlic, it's okay to refrigerate it temporarily. But be sure to use an airtight, dry container and consume it within a few days. If you've made garlic-infused oil for convenience, store it in the fridge and use it within 1 week to avoid the risk of bacterial contamination. With just a small change in how you store garlic, you can preserve its bold flavor and potent health properties, something especially important as we age and aim to protect our well-being with every meal. 5. Avocados should not be refrigerated before they ripen. Avocados, the creamy, nutrient-rich fruit full of healthy fats, have become a superstar in healthy eating, especially for older adults. Whether you spread it on toast, slice it into salads, or blend it into smoothies, avocado is a fantastic choice for heart, brain, and skin health. But storing avocados in the refrigerator too soon is a common mistake that can greatly reduce both their flavor and nutritional value. Why? Because avocados ripen after being harvested, and this natural ripening process happens best at room temperature. If you put an unripe avocado into the fridge, the cold temperature slows down or even stops the ripening entirely. The result? A rubbery, flavorless avocado with grayish-brown flesh, even though the skin may still look green on the outside. You'll lose not only the creamy texture but also some of the antioxidants and beneficial enzymes. Many people, hoping to keep their avocados fresh longer, refrigerate them too early while still green. But this keeps the fruit from ever reaching its ideal ripeness. When cut open, it's often dry, bland, and firm, rather than soft and rich. Even if you let it sit out afterward, it rarely returns to its intended texture and flavor. So what's the right way to store avocados? If your avocados are still firm and unripe, leave them on your kitchen counter in a cool, dry spot away from direct sunlight. Want to speed up ripening? Place them in a paper bag with a banana or apple. These fruits release ethylene gas, which helps avocados ripen naturally within 1 to 2 days. Only once the avocado is fully ripe and you're not ready to eat it right away, should you wrap it tightly and refrigerate it for up to 1 to 2 days. Beyond that, it may lose its natural flavor and nutritional benefits. In short, let your avocados breathe and ripen naturally at room temperature. This is the simplest way to preserve their full flavor and health benefits. For older adults, a properly ripened avocado isn't just a tasty addition to a meal. It's a gentle act of nourishment for the heart, memory, and digestive system. 6. Bananas should not be refrigerated when they're still green or not fully ripe. Bananas are one of the most popular, convenient, and nutrient-rich fruits, especially for older adults. They're easy to digest and rich in potassium, vitamin B6, and fiber, making them excellent for regulating blood pressure, reducing stroke risk, and supporting smooth digestion. However, one common mistake that can reduce their nutritional value is refrigerating bananas at the wrong time, particularly when they're still green or not fully ripe. Many people think that putting bananas in the fridge helps them last longer. This is only true if the bananas are already fully ripe. If you refrigerate bananas that are still green or only partially ripened, the cold slows down, or even halts, the natural ripening process. As a result, the peel quickly turns brown or black, while the inside remains firm, starchy, and lacking in sweetness, with none of the soft, fragrant flavor that ripe bananas are known for. This often leads to confusion. The banana may look overripe on the outside but is still underripe inside. Cold temperatures also damage the cell structure of the peel, causing it to discolor and look unappetizing, which can be misleading and make people think the fruit is spoiled, when it isn't. So, what's the best way to store bananas? Keep bananas at room temperature, in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight. Avoid placing them next to ethylene-producing fruits like apples or pears, unless you want to speed up ripening. Once your bananas are fully yellow and ripe, you can then place them in the refrigerator to slow further spoilage. The peel may darken, which is completely normal, but the fruit inside will stay sweet and soft for a few extra days. If you find yourself with too many ripe bananas, simply peel and freeze them in a zip-top bag or airtight container. Frozen bananas are perfect for smoothies, banana bread, or mixing into oatmeal, a great way to enjoy their full nutritional value without waste. In short, avoid refrigerating unripe bananas. It's a small habit, but it makes a big difference in preserving their taste, texture, and health benefits. Especially for older adults aiming to stay light, healthy, and energized, letting bananas ripen naturally is one of the simplest ways to make the most of this golden fruit. 7. Melons, watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew, should not be refrigerated. Whole melons, from cool, refreshing watermelon to fragrant cantaloupe to mellow honeydew, have long been family favorites, especially on hot summer days. However, many people habitually place whole, uncut melons into the fridge immediately after buying them, thinking it will help them stay fresh longer. In reality, refrigerating whole melons too early can dull their natural flavor, ruin their juicy texture, and even reduce their nutritional value. The reason? Melons continue to ripen after harvest, a process that naturally increases their sugar content and enhances the levels of key nutrients, especially antioxidants like beta-carotene and vitamin C. Placing a whole melon in the refrigerator too soon slows or stops this ripening process, leading to bland, grainy, or spongy flesh with less sweetness and fewer health benefits. In particular, whole watermelons left in the fridge too long can suffer from cold injury, a condition where the internal cells break down, leaving the fruit dry, mealy, and flavorless. Likewise, cantaloupes and honeydews lose their natural fragrance and crisp juiciness when refrigerated before they're fully ripe, resulting in a texture that feels dull instead of refreshing. So, what's the best way to store melons? Let melons sit at room temperature until they are fully ripe. You'll know they're ready when the skin near the stem or base feels slightly soft and there's a subtle sweet aroma. Only after cutting into the melon should you place the remaining pieces in the fridge. Wrap them tightly in plastic wrap or store in an airtight container and use within 3 to 4 days for best flavor and safety. Melons are a natural gift, filled with hydrating sweetness and nutrients that benefit the heart, digestion, and immune system, all especially important for older adults. By storing them properly, you're not just protecting a fruit, you're honoring your health and your relationship with wholesome, nourishing food. 8. Bread should not be stored in the refrigerator. Bread, a beloved staple in millions of households, whether as a light breakfast, a quick sandwich, or a nostalgic comfort food, is known for its convenience, ease of eating, and deep connection to family memories. However, many people mistakenly believe that keeping bread in the refrigerator is the best way to extend its shelf life. The truth is quite the opposite. Storing bread in the fridge can actually make it spoil faster and strip it of its flavor and texture. The reason lies in a process called starch retrogradation. In cold environments, the starch molecules in bread recrystallize, causing the bread to become firm, dry, and crumbly. Even after just a few days in the fridge, a once soft, fragrant loaf can turn stiff and unappetizing, losing all the charm of a freshly baked slice. What's more, the moist environment inside the refrigerator can cause the crust to become soggy, and if not stored properly, the bread may even develop mold. This is especially problematic for older adults who often need foods that are easy to chew and digest. So, what's the better way to store bread? If you plan to eat the bread within 2 to 3 days, keep it at room temperature in a cool, dry place, such as a bread box, wooden drawer, or a breathable paper bag. This helps preserve the bread's softness and flavor for a short time. If you can't finish a loaf in a few days, freeze it in portions. Simply take out slices as needed and toast or reheat them in an oven or toaster. They'll be crispy and fragrant, almost like fresh baked. A helpful tip: wrap each portion tightly in plastic wrap or a sealed bag before freezing to prevent it from drying out or absorbing odors from other foods. Bread isn't just food, it's a part of daily life and family tradition. Storing it properly not only preserves its flavor and texture, but also shows respect for the care that went into making it and helps nurture your health every day. 9. Honey should not be stored in the refrigerator. Honey has long been called liquid gold from nature, not just because of its natural sweetness, but also for its antibacterial, antioxidant, and long-lasting preservative qualities. Many people hoping to keep their honey fresh store it in the refrigerator. But what they may not realize is that this habit can diminish its quality and flavor over time. In truth, honey does not require refrigeration. When stored in the fridge, the cold temperature speeds up the crystallization process, turning honey into a grainy, clumpy, or even solid sugar-like texture. While crystallized honey is still safe to eat, it becomes much harder to scoop, pour, or stir. In addition, the moisture inside the fridge can be a hidden threat. If the jar isn't sealed tightly or is opened frequently, humidity may enter, leading to dilution and fermentation. This not only reduces the honey's natural purity, but can also cause it to develop an unpleasant sour smell over time. So, what's the ideal way to store honey? It's simple. Keep honey in a cool, dry, and dark place, such as a kitchen cabinet or pantry shelf, away from direct sunlight and heat sources. Make sure the lid is tightly closed. When stored properly, honey can retain its quality for years, without any need for preservatives. If your honey has already crystallized due to cold storage, don't worry, it's reversible. Just place the jar in a bowl of warm water, around 40 to 50 degrees Celsius or 104 to 122 degrees Fahrenheit, for a few minutes, and stir gently. Avoid boiling water or microwaves, which can damage the natural enzymes and health properties of honey. Honey is more than just a sweetener. It's a natural gift, a trusted remedy in traditional healing, and a cherished ingredient in warm teas and wholesome recipes. Store it properly, and every drop will continue to nourish your body with sweetness, strength, and warmth through the years. 10. Olive oil should not be stored in the refrigerator. Olive oil, especially extra virgin olive oil, has long been celebrated as the essence of the Mediterranean, not just for its pure, smooth flavor, but also for its impressive health benefits, particularly for those over 60. It supports heart health, skin vitality, and overall well-being. However, one common mistake many people make is refrigerating olive oil in hopes of preserving it longer. Unfortunately, this practice can actually damage the texture and flavor of the oil. At low temperatures, olive oil solidifies and becomes cloudy, developing waxy white clumps. While this change is harmless and reversible, it can make the oil harder to pour and less convenient to use, especially when you need it quickly for cooking. More importantly, when olive oil is repeatedly moved between cold and room temperatures, its quality and delicate aroma begin to degrade. Another issue: refrigerators are humid and often brightly lit, both of which can speed up oxidation if the oil isn't tightly sealed or is stored in a clear bottle. Prolonged exposure to light and air can cause olive oil to go rancid, giving it a bitter, harsh taste and robbing it of valuable nutrients like polyphenols and vitamin E. So, how should you store olive oil properly? It's simple. Keep olive oil in a cool, dry, dark place, such as a pantry, kitchen cabinet, or drawer, away from direct sunlight and heat. Use dark glass bottles or metal tins to protect it from light, and seal the cap tightly after each use to minimize air exposure. When stored correctly, olive oil retains its vibrant color, smooth aroma, and full nutritional value, making it the true liquid gold it was meant to be. Don't let the refrigerator dull the shine of this precious ingredient. Instead, let olive oil hold its rightful place in your kitchen and in your journey to a healthier life. 11. Coffee should not be stored in the refrigerator if you want to keep its full flavor. Whether in whole bean or ground form, coffee has long been a beloved companion, especially for those in midlife and older age. A morning cup of coffee is more than just a caffeine boost. It's a moment of calm, comfort, and a ritual that gently opens the day. However, many people still store their coffee in the refrigerator or freezer, hoping to keep it fresh for longer. Sadly, this well-meaning habit often has the opposite effect. Coffee is extremely sensitive to moisture, light, and surrounding odors. When placed in the refrigerator, an environment that's both humid and prone to temperature fluctuations, coffee beans or grounds can absorb moisture from the air, leading to hidden mold or loss of natural crispness. For ground coffee, the impact is even more noticeable. It can clump, lose its fragrance, and become stale more quickly. Additionally, coffee is a natural odor absorber. When stored near foods like garlic, onion, butter, or raw meat in the fridge, it can absorb those smells, leading to strange flavors when brewed. The result? A cup of coffee that should be rich, warm, and inviting ends up tasting off, with distracting and unpleasant undertones. So how should you store coffee properly? Skip the fridge. Instead, keep your coffee in a cool, dry, dark place, away from sunlight and heat sources like the stove. Use an airtight container, ideally made of glass or ceramic with a tight lid. Avoid plastic containers or resealable bags. If you buy whole beans, grind only what you need for a few days at a time. This ensures your cup remains as fresh and flavorful as possible. Coffee is a gift from nature, and like any precious gift, it deserves care and respect. Keep it away from the fridge, and you'll be rewarded with deep aroma, full-bodied flavor, and a coffee experience that feels just right every single day. Important reminders for proper food storage: avoiding common refrigeration mistakes. After the age of 60, our bodies become more sensitive, whether it's our digestion, heart health, taste, or ability to absorb nutrients. That's why proper food storage is no longer just about keeping food fresh, but about keeping it safe and nourishing for your health. Many people believe storing everything in the refrigerator is the best approach, but not all foods do well in cold, damp environments. Certain foods like potatoes, onions, garlic, and coffee can undergo unwanted chemical changes when chilled, affecting both flavor and safety, especially if later cooked at high temperatures. Others, like tomatoes, avocados, and bananas, lose their natural sweetness, antioxidants, and firm texture when refrigerated too early. Even more concerning, if we're not careful, we might accidentally eat moldy or spoiled food caused by high humidity and improper storage, especially when food is kept too long or not sealed properly. So how do you store food the right way? Just remember 3 golden rules: well ventilated, dry, separated. Avoid sealing food in plastic bags that trap moisture. Instead, use baskets, paper bags, airtight glass jars, or breathable fabric pouches. Keep them in a cool, shaded area, away from direct sunlight, and store different types of food separately to prevent cross-flavor contamination. Take a look around your kitchen. Are there any items you might be storing incorrectly? Just a few simple changes can make a big difference. Your food will last longer, taste better, and most importantly, help keep you healthy every day. If you found this information helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more tips on healthy, mindful living after 60.